Returning now to the studio with more on Israel's response to the recent wave of terror last week is legal advisor to the Israeli Movement for Governability and Democracy, or Meshilut, attorney Simcha Rothman. Simcha, thank you so much for coming back in today.
Good day.
All right, so first of all, what's your initial reaction to the recent demolitions or maybe the lack thereof, and this latest push to exile terrorists even?
We see the idea. We see a lot of talk, even from the Prime Minister, that to say that there are legal obstacles to doing what Israel thinks needs to be done. If we're talking about house demolition or we're talking about exile terrorists' families, the idea of legal obstacles to saving or to preventing terror attacks, I find it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how can people say that there are legal obstacles to protect your own people. The main goal of a country, the main goal of government at all, is to protect its citizens. So we can say we don't want to do something because it's immoral.
Sure, but the idea, which again, I'm playing from the legal position, wouldn't the idea then be to protect citizens' rights, but not at the expense of someone else's?
Of course, if you can, but if the Prime Minister gets to a decision saying the only way to prevent terrorist attacks is to exile terrorist families,
how would you do that anyway? Where would you move them to?
So the idea now in the current law that the government approved this Sunday, the idea now is to move them to from a place to a place inside Judea and Samaria, meaning, and that it's a harsh enough punishment, and it's a deterrence.
How can Israel even really do that, though? How can you control to that extent where these people
Israel
live?
has control, and even had before and have today. You can say a specific person cannot be in the Nablus area, cannot be in Hebron area. You can do that.
So it's not that they're saying, hey, I want you to live in this specific area from now on.
You can do even that. But I'm talking about exiling them from there. And in the society that lives in Judea and Samaria, it's a big deterrence to say you cannot stay in your house. But the idea is that the law is preventing the government from protecting its own citizens is. You cannot grasp this idea. You cannot accept. If there is a problem with the law, you change the law. To say that the law prevents the government from protecting its citizens is an oxymoron. The idea of a government, the idea of a state is to protect its citizens. If the law is preventing, then the law is bad.
Okay, but so if we're talking about deterrence then, again, and this is my final question, unfortunately, but earlier today, the police also arrested a suspect in a hate crime from last Thursday in which a Israeli settler attacked a Palestinian bus driver in Modi'in Illit. Would you suggest anywhere near the same punishment for him?
If I would think that you need this, we might consider it.
To relocate him, to exile the settler from
I have to say, not many people know, but many Jewish settlers get this kind of decisions from the ruler of Judea and Samaria. You cannot live in this and this area. So it happens as we speak. But I think that the idea to compare these issues, I think it's wrong. We are talking about when you have a fight, a battle between nations, you deal with it in the rules of war. When you have a criminal, you deal with the justice criminal system. The fact that we are trying to fight terror using the criminal system corrupts both of our criminal system and the way we fight terror. You need to fight terror like you fight terror. You need to do criminal justice in the criminal justice way.
All right, well, Simcha Rothman, thank you very much for coming in.